This small verse by the student of Baal Shem Tov probably sums up the energy waves for December 2024 in the best way possible. And it goes like this: Let me fall if I must fall. The one I am becoming will catch me. Now, let me explain why that is so relevant for this month by looking at the themes for this month and the action steps you need to take. My name is Haines. I'm from the Five Institute, and these are the energy waves for December 2024. So the first theme this month is sitting in the soup. Now, you can't have failed to notice that there is enormous amounts of change and revolution going on at the moment. We're literally changing from one state to another, both ourselves and society as a whole. And it is that metamorphosis, that change from one state to another, that has a period of being in the soup. Now, if you think about a caterpillar, it's sitting there munching leaves, and then it goes into the chrysalis before it turns into a butterfly. And within the chrysalis, it is a soup. It is liquid. And then these imaginal cells start to appear, imagines what it can be, and eventually it turns into this butterfly. Now, we are currently sitting in the soup, and we have been for quite some time. Now, the problem with sitting in the soup, it's quite a challenging time. We've lost our identity. We don't know who we are anymore. And we perhaps don't know who we are going to become. We might have small imaginings of it, but we've not yet become it. We also, within this process of sitting in the soup, we're being rearranged. And for many of us, that can feel like we're being broken. And we are to a certain extent. We're being asked to let go of things. We're asked to view things in a different way. So currently sitting in the soup is a tricky phase for us. It's why at the Five Institute, I share the energy waves to help you make sense about what's going on at the moment. It's why we kind of do our energetic education to try and help you make sense of this time. So let's just explore a little bit about the soup that we're in and what's trying to happen. So, like I say, it's a period of revolution, of great change within you and society. Now, revolutions can operate in three different forms. There can be a tired revolution, an inspired revolution, and an angry revolution. So you might be in a situation you think, I'm just so tired of how things are, just exhausted with it. I'm tired of it. I want things to change. And that would be a tired revolution. An inspired revolution would be Dr. Martin Luther King. And then an angry revolution, we kind of know what that's about. So at the Five Institute, we believe that we should be in an inspired revolution. It's what we are here to do. And I would invite you to join the inspired revolution or create your own inspired revolution. You could be a bit tired, but let's try and go from the inspired place because we know what happens if we get angry. So look upon this time as to find an inspiration for what can be, recognize you could be tired, and watch out for the anger. We're going to talk about that later. So we're sitting in the soup. It can be a bit scary. It can be a bit difficult, but your new identity is forming, and we can feel like we're being broken. But that's not what's happening. We're being rearranged for our future, and we need to be inspired. The next thing we can look at here, and I'm going to tie this together. Next thing we need to look at here is the second theme for this month, and that is remembering who we are, and perhaps not who we haven't been. Let me explain all about this. So we are discovering and remembering who we are. So it is within this metamorphosis, we're actually rediscovering ourselves. Now, at the Five Institute, one of the things that we talk about is our energy type. And if you want to know what that is, just take the vitality test completely free. And that tells you your particular energy type, who you are, what you do in the world. Now, one of the things that can happen as we travel through life is we kind of lose ourselves. This month and moving forward into 2025, it's peeling back the layers to really say, actually, this is the essence of who I am. And one of the things we look at the Five Institute, lots of our programs, is something called your first expression. Now, your first expression is when you start to be you. And it could be you're in a situation where you are not appreciated by the people around you. And as a result, your very young age first expression of yourself, often when you're 3 or 4 years old, you think, oh, I shouldn't be me. There is something wrong with me. So this remembering who we are, lots of it is needing us to uncover who we really are and not who we have told we're meant to be. So it's about escaping out of boxes, getting out different ways, but it is the essence of remembering who you are. So you might be having experiences of thinking, God, I used to like doing that. I've forgotten all about that. Or you might be reclaiming who you are. So remembering who you are is a really important theme this month. And it's a really important theme going through into 2025, where we will be peeling back the layers to the essence of who you are. So if needs be, if this would be helpful, take the vitality test. You'll see your strength and your brilliance, and you can see, perhaps that was suppressed in my childhood, or perhaps I've had some difficulty or trauma that means I'm really not expressing the essence of who I am. But this is a time to rediscover you, find your wings, to be that butterfly to fly around the world. So let's look at the third theme for this month. And this one is the kindness of consequences. Now, I've chosen this name very, very precisely for a particular reason. Now, in December 2024, you will be given consequences. It's just like last month in November, we had a reality check, things that make you wake you up to your reality. Now, we will be having consequences in this month. Now, the consequences could be that you've done certain things and it's fantastic and you get being rewarded for it. Or it could be that the consequences coming to you at this particular moment in time are quite tricky. But the consequences are there to help you see how things are meant to be and not to give you a hard time. But these consequences are arriving at a time where we might feel broken or being rearranged or uncertain as to who we are. So it's quite a hard time to have consequences. But remember, those consequences are there to help you. So it's this quote, let me fall if I must fall. The one I'm becoming will catch me. That's in essence what you're doing. So you will perhaps feel like you're falling, things might be pulling apart, but the future version of you is there to catch you and hold you. You've just got to be in that space, to welcome it, to open it up. Now, within this kind consequences period of time, that these consequences are there to help you to discover who you're meant to be. Like I say, it can be really difficult. And this may not apply to you, but if it does, I hope it's helpful. If it does apply to someone else, please share, like this message, whatever. The block of time that we're in, this 12-year block of time, one of the energies within it is it's a metal energy block of time. The metal energy is connected to autumn, to fall. It's about disconnection. It started in 2020, and that was an enormous period of disconnection and letting go. So we've got a block of time which has got about disconnection and letting go. And of course, that's what we're meant to be doing at the moment, to let go, to form something new. But one of the psychological things that we can happen at the moment is that we feel sometimes like we need to really let go. That's why we're seeing increasing rates of suicide, people actually letting go of life. So I think this month is quite a tricky one because we've got lots of consequences. We're sitting in the soup. And it may be you're feeling broken and you think, actually, I just can't carry on. But your future will catch you. You just need to just hang in there and don't do anything because death is permanent and life is, you're here for a reason. So if you need help, you need to listen and anything or reach out, then please just do that in some way. This is not a time to leave you. We need you as part of the inspired revolution. Okay. Right. Let's look at the action steps. Sorry about a bit heavy, but it's actually many people are going and we don't need them to while we do what we do. Let's look at the action steps. So the first action step is for you to be like a bulb. Be like a bulb, Nick. What are you talking about? Well, let me explain. So what we're doing at the moment is we're underneath the surface and we're kind of germinating, we're growing something out. And like a bulb coming up and about to push something out. So to be a bulb, you need to have built up some reserves, some resources. So this month, it's really important that you rest, that you look after yourself, you get plenty of sleep, particularly if you're being churned up and lots of stuff. It's much harder to deal with difficulties if we're tired or we're not eating well. So you know how to eat well, you know how to sleep, you know how to do the things, a bit of self-love, look after yourself, get some rest as you build up some energy. But the bulb also has to do a number of things. It's got some layers, it's peeling back, and it's also got some action that's coming on. So this is an interesting month where we should be resting and building up our reserves and also taking action at the same time, which we're going to look at in one of the action steps. So think of yourself as a bulb. You need to build up your reserves, but also start to push through the surface, start to appear, to manifest in the world, to be inspired in this revolution. And that leads us to our second action step for this month, which is to plan your dreams. Now, we have been in a dream period of thinking of things, we'd like the world to be this way. It's been a fairly dreamy time, harsh, but dreamy at times. You might have also, within this aspect of you remembering who you once were, you might be remembering the dreams you used to have and reawakening to those. Now, this December and moving forward into 2025, this wood snake year, the important thing is to plans in place to make those dreams come true. We're moving out of the dream phase and into the action phase. Now, the plans could be that you might think, okay, I kind of want this. I don't 100% know what it would be, but I know the sort of person I would need to become to create those dreams. So you might say, okay, what's the rhythm and routine that person needs to have? Now, again, at the Five Institute, we are here to help you. If you look at your Vitality Test profile, each energy has a certain rhythm routine, things that really suits it, things that a life that it really wants. So within that design. So it's really important within December, moving forward into January, February, into the next year, that you almost become the energetic architect of your life within this inspired revolution. So what is it that you would do and how would you live to bring about your dreams in your world? Who would you have in your life, etc., etc.? So plan your dreams is moving from a passive state to an active state, or two of them existing at the same time, which leads us to the third theme for this month, which is allowing two things to exist at the same time. Now, we're in this revolutionary time, and one of the things we're evolving is our spiritual evolution. One aspect of that is to allow two things to exist at the same time. Now, you can't help but notice we've had lots of polarity going on at the same time, black and white thinking they're this and they're this and this. That was just consequences and stuff to show you that, do you want to live in a polarity-based world, or would you like to have an integration of us coming back together again to allow two thoughts at the same time? So it could be also that within that first action step to be that bulb, to rest and take action, or it could be to accept something and also to let go of it, to recognize your past was a certain way, but you also have a future. So there's a whole thing allowing two things to exist at the same time. Now, you'll be given some challenges around that. You'll see that in the world. You'll see the outside world perhaps struggling with it, but recognize that you need to do that. And the one way to know that you're not allowing polarities to exist is if you become angry. If you become irritated, if you become annoyed, you become fixed in your view, that usually means you're fixed on one side and the other side can't exist. So it's this fluidity of it. Anyway, those are the energy waves for December 2024.